What's up, guys? I'm Drew Somerville,
And I'm Chad Savage.
and this is the Work in Progress Photography channel. We're here to talk about having a business as a photographer as opposed to just, the technical side of it.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into the industry and our experience in the industry in a way in which we feel has not been covered a lot in other channels. Hopefully, we're going to share a bunch of cool, informative stuff that will be helpful. We're both commercial photographers in Charleston, South Carolina. We shoot pretty similar stuff. We've been friends since really the beginning of our career and have contributed to each other's careers and
Numerous ways.
moral and emotional and technical support for each other. So yeah, we're going to pass along our friendship and our learning to you guys. So I guess it's August, early August right now. Pretty slow time of the year.
Slow time, hot
I have
time.
not been working much. I don't have anything on the books for August. I got a small project at the end of the month. It's pretty typical for this time of year. I don't know about y'all, but it's hot here. Nobody wants to be outside in 99% humidity. Nobody looks good. Nobody's having a good time.
No.
It's not what you want people to see when you're selling a product or service.
Or trying to stand outside for 8-hour shoot.
Yeah, it's rough. You cannot drink enough water to combat with the almighty sun.
No.
don't even try. It's hard. You're going to get sunburned and you're going to smell bad. So I mean, how do you spend your downtime when it's slow and you got nothing going on?
So yeah, a lot of portfolio reviews, website reviews, maybe some re-edits of previous work, and a lot of spec shoots. Specifically, I think that's probably the best way to spend your time, is going to be either spec shoots or gearing up in some kind of manner to reach out to potential clients.
That portfolio reviews. I mean, everything I think is equally important. I mean, the key thing here is not to sit around and twiddle your thumbs. I mean, you don't have to work 100-hour weeks, but when you're not doing anything, is a really good time to work on stuff that you usually don't have time for, because if you are successful, which is the goal, you're going to be very, very, very busy for months at a time. So when you get those little rest periods, it's really important to think of them as a little blessing and to utilize that time to make sure, like you said, portfolio is up to date, that your email marketing is ready to rock for the fall in this case. If you've got any spec shoots that you've been wanting to do, which are super duper important, it's the time to plan those. I've spent the past 2 weeks completely redoing my website. I switched hosting platforms. I re-edited all of my images to look cohesive because I had some work on my website that was 3 or 4 years old. Processed them a little differently and they just weren't vibing and fitting right. I cut out a whole genre of work off my website.
Very important. Knowing what to cut out is just as important.
Really, I mean, if you haven't had a meaningful job for a section of your website, and by meaningful I mean contributing significantly to your earnings, you should get rid of it. If in a 12-month time span you don't do any work in that genre that pays your bills, nix it. It's not what you're getting hired for. It's time to evolve, adapt, move on, move forward. I've used that time to reshape my website, the tone of it, the color grades a little bit. Everything's looking nice and solid and flowy right now, which is really awesome. It took me, 60, 70 hours. I switched to Photofolio, which is an excellent web hosting platform. It's super customizable, almost to a fault. You can do literally anything you want. And because of that, it takes a lot of time to learn and to figure out. I'm sure that tech support is sick and tired of seeing my name in their email inboxes, but we got it working. Everything's going well and it looks good. So it was time well spent. And the importance of a portfolio review is that you do a lot of work to bring attention and eyes onto your work. And if you're not presenting something that is representative of you, representative of your work in a succinct and very clean way, you're wasting all that time. All that time you've spent getting people to look at your work is wasted if it doesn't look good, if it doesn't look good together, if it's not easily reviewable, if it doesn't really sum up what you do. When clients are looking at your work, I don't know about y'all, but I have 75 tabs open on my web browser at any time. And imagine the person that is going to be hiring you. That's how they're looking at your work. They have you and 50 other photographers looked up, and they are clicking through. And I would average I don't know, if you get 30 seconds on your page, that's quite a compliment. I would say the average is probably 10. And if you don't make an impression in those 10 seconds, they're going to the next one, they're going to the next one, they're going to the next one. So you need your website to immediately say something about you and your work that sets you apart and identifies what you do. And I guess, let's snowball that a little bit. The reason I cut a whole section off my website is because it detracted from that statement. It didn't flow with a lot of my more recent work. As much as I am emotionally attached to it, I love it. I think they're great images. It just doesn't speak to the stuff I'm doing or the people I'm pitching. So nix it, because we don't want to confuse anybody and waste their valuable time.
Yeah, and I think that this emotional tie that we have to a lot of these photos that we've done in the past, you have to kind of compartmentalize that, because at the end of the day, what Drew is saying is if it's not really contributing to any substantial way for your portfolio, you're not getting any good work from it, or whatever it may be, then while you may love these images, you have to kind of realize in a business aspect, like, is that going to keep you afloat? Is that, like, I really love XYZ shoot that I did. Okay, sure. And you can still have fun and do those things. And maybe you get some work from that in some way or another somewhere down the line. But making all of your work on your portfolio, on your website, or whatever is as viable as possible and as quick to set you apart, get you noticed, and get you hired is going to be what allows you to do this for the long run,
Yeah. And I mean, a good rule of thumb is if it's not actively helping you, it is hurting you. It is detracting and it is taking away. Your website is a narrative about who you are and what you do. And if it doesn't read as one thing, people are going to be confused. And especially on bigger budget shoots, people aren't going to hire you if they don't know exactly what they're going to get.
Sure.
People want to hire you. They like your style. They want the thing they see applied to their product. They don't want to play a guessing game. Like, hey, maybe we're going to get moody black and white shots.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to get fun lifestyle shots. Like, in order to invest money in you, they need to know what they're getting. So you do need to sort of think of your work as a product. And since it's a product, it needs to all go together, all fit together.
Yeah. I think that kind of touches a little bit on niching too. Like, that's a whole separate conversation we won't dive too much into. There's plenty of YouTubers, photographers, whatever, who have, I'm sure everyone's heard, like, niche down, figure out what niche you want to do, whatever, and beat that horse to death. But it is important in terms of this is what you do, and X client is going to see that and go, okay, we're hiring this person who's a specialist in whatever it may be. If you have weddings and couples and sports and automotive, and you have a little bit of event photography on there too, and you're just spread across so many, you can still take all those jobs. We certainly do from time to time. We'll do a random event or a wedding for a friend or whatever when they come along. Sure, make some money if you have the skill set and you can do that. But if whatever you're advertising for needs to be all of the thing you want to get hired for. Because if Nike came along and they want to hire someone for this fitness, athleisure wear, even if your work is just as good as this guy's or girl's next to you, they're going to hire the one who only does that and not the person who has weddings and couples and some whatever other things in there. They're going to hire the person who only does the footwear. They only do that. Even if your work is just as good as theirs, they're going to do the person who only goes that route because it just makes it simpler for them.
Yeah. And I would say, I know we've both done this. I've included everything I've ever shot on my website when I first got started, because you need money, you need work, and you don't want to exclude anybody, because all money spends the same, and just feel really grateful to make it sometimes.
Yeah.
But you're sacrificing something great for something mediocre. And that's not how you're going to build a career, and that's not how you're going to stand out. There's I don't know, millions of photographers. Everybody can take a picture nowadays. You have to really have a voice and have something you're saying. And I guess what we're both saying about the niche and the specialization, it is about what you shoot. Like, if you're shooting interiors and weddings and all this stuff, you need to present what you shoot cohesively. But, like, for instance, I shoot fashion, I shoot lifestyle and hospitality and food, I shoot product, I shoot sort of a bunch of different things, but I shoot it with the same visual and emotional voice. So it looks and it feels like it came from me.
Right.
And so having that specialized voice and way of presenting, or I guess way of speaking in photographs, way of shooting is super important. So like all of the things that I said fall under commercial photography. I'm shooting for businesses. I'm shooting for advertising. So you don't have to just shoot you don't have to just shoot shirts. You can shoot fashion, you can shoot lifestyle, you can shoot all these things. Or you don't have to just if you're shooting weddings, you probably are also going to shoot couples. You're also going to shoot engagements. You're going to shoot families,
general events,
right? Yeah, there's a skill set applied to your work that can be applied to other things, but it needs you just need to pick one. You need to pick a zone.
Yeah,
I think a zone is a good way of thinking.
Yeah, that's a much
not
better.
A point. It's like a cluster of things that your style applies to. Find one of those, stick with it, double down on it, really invest in being the best at that, and also just have your own style. You can't shoot what everybody else shoots. There's all preset packs and stuff nowadays. Nobody you're gonna get hired for being you. It's going to be a popular theme on this channel is your voice is what's going to get you work. Who you are. That's the one thing you can do that nobody else can do is be yourself and shoot the way you shoot and then interact and see the world the way you see it. Yeah. So find your own style, find your little zone in the world, rock that. Once you find your zone in the world, little segue here. Once you find out who you are, what you want to say, the best way to build out your portfolio is with personal projects. Yeah. They give you a platform to show the world what it is you want to do, and then show them how you do it with no restrictions. In the commercial world, there are frequently a lot of people telling you how things are going to look, how they should look, and how to do them. On a personal project, they're so powerful because you get to make all those decisions. You just did a killer personal project. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
So that was a spec shoot for a yoga studio, local yoga studio. And this was so that we could kind of encompass moreover fitness and health and wellness in a commercially viable way. So for the yoga studio, they have branded athletic tops and things like that. So we had the instructors wearing those. Obviously, the studio and the instructors can use these images in whatever way that they need for their own marketing. But we had good kind of fun, creative movement and some creative light, just dropped on the backdrop and got to be a little bit fun and creative. But it's also something that if I got hired for Lululemon or Adidas or whatever, any of these athletic kind of athleisure wear companies, then it can be applied to them as well. We had their branded tops and took some photos of those in a way that, they could kind of use them in order to help market and sell those. Obviously, the instructors doing their thing and having fun and being creative, that kind of just sells the lifestyle around the actual the studio as well as the lifestyle of yoga in general, right? Some people see those and hopefully it gets them in the doors and, get some more clients for the studio. But this is a good project. Drew and I help each other pretty much for every spec shoot or most of our paid ones as well.
We'll talk about another video why it's important to have somebody with you have chemistry with on your set.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, so we're doing this shoot, and kind of the whole process of this is important, from not just the act of shooting the images, editing them, and returning them, but the pre-production, right? I'm talking to the yoga studio. It gets you good interpersonal skills. It gets you used to how you're going to have to interact with clients or set up mood boards or kind of give them an idea of your vision and your direction. So setting up little mood boards in order to send to them so that they understand what my ideas are when I come in there. That's a very important part of the process and something you're really going to have to do, that we do often before we work with a client, before the shoot date. That's a big part of what makes a shoot roll really smoothly the day of, because you have an idea, an end goal. And as you're making your way through those images and doing the shoot actively on the day, sometimes you have a little time, you can branch off, do a little more creative stuff, but you have an end goal and you have an idea, and that's really expressed before the shoot happens. And so both parties know what's going to happen, and you can all kind of work to make that goal happen together. So
I want to jump in really quick, because I think something that is getting glossed over and that's super cool is that Chad has not shot yoga before. He's shot a lot of sports and a lot of lifestyle and a lot of stuff, in the peripheral zone of yoga and sort of the fitness space. But the images that he made are exactly his style. Yeah. There's lots of motion blur. There's cool filters. They're contrasty. They're dramatic. they fit within his work. And so it's really cool that, and this is the best thing about personal projects, is you're using this to shoot a new genre, and you can do it in your style, and you can use that. And now, like, I guess, sidebar, you're never going to get hired for work that isn't on your site, right? If clients don't see, you aren't going to get a job for something that isn't represented on your site. So personal projects are how you fill in those gaps. You're like, hey, I think my style, Chad's style, would work well for yoga. What do? We set up a personal project, we shoot it, we create some images, you use that to advertise to people. And that's the coolest thing, and it links back into what we were saying about personal style. Is he's never shot this before. It's a completely new subject matter, but it's done in his style. It looks cohesive with the rest of your work. It fits perfectly with the rest of your website. And now you can add that in, and you can add that to your marketing regimen.
And it's a good way, when you do these spec shoots. For instance, we're obviously talking about yoga in this situation, but now this specific shoot can be attributed to a bunch of different ideas and different directions for other companies, businesses, whatever. Like a Pilates studio could do it up. A footwear company, any other athleisure wear, doesn't just have to be yoga, because the same things, the same abilities, skill set, and vision can be applied to these other shoots. So, if like a shoe company came along and wanted to do something great, we can still do the motion blur and the movement and stuff in it, and it kind of still lends itself to that. It doesn't have to be exactly, but they still, like Drew mentioned earlier before, it still fits in that zone, right? Like it's still my visual, my visual idea of what I want to see, what I think is cool, my direction, my aesthetic, and it fits still within that zone of things that I can all shoot together and can apply to each other.
Yeah, and so I guess the process is, if you want to break into new industries, if you want to improve your portfolio, you set up a spec shoot like that. You do the planning. You create this body of work that is representative of you in this new industry, and you send that out to clients. So that's the next point I want to touch on, is how to send that out to clients. If you are not doing direct outreach in your business, I wish you luck. I can't imagine just sitting around waiting for jobs to come in. If you are not being proactive in this industry, you're not going to make it very far. And since this is the slow time of the year, August is a great time for this. You'll learn this eventually, but don't send emails out in August. Don't email people. Everybody's out of the office. Their kids are out of school. They're on vacation. Like, honestly, look up when school starts in your area or wherever you're sending emails to. 2 weeks after that, you can start sending campaigns. People are back in the flow of things. But so you're going to take this body of work that you've created, and you're going to send it out to marketing directors, creative directors, agencies, ad agencies, anybody that makes decisions or puts shoots together in your field. And that'll give you sort of a good read on how the work is, like how it's received. Will say how good of a job you did. Whether or not people are interested in it will give you the feedback you need on if what you produced was good, was working. There's lots of ways of sending email campaigns. The easiest one is to just go on LinkedIn and do manual research and look up, find brands that you like, look them up, find their creative director, get their contact information, reach out to them. There's a bunch of services that help with this. Agency Access is one. I have some, not beef with them, but it's just, Agency Access is great as a starting point. It is a single list that hundreds of thousands of people have access to. And so you have to assume that these people are bombarded by people all the time. So there's a high chance of things getting lost in there. I like to use Wonderful Machine and their marketing partner program. I've done my own email marketing for years and years and dumped. When I was first getting started, I probably spent 40 hours a week just doing market research and sending my book out. I don't want to do that anymore because it takes a lot of time, and I have other things in my life that I like to do other than just scroll through the internet looking for leads. And I now have resources that I can, use to take that work over for me. It's a great thing to look into. They do a great job. They get to know your work, they get to know you, and they have a really deep database. And if they don't have what you need, they will find it. So highly recommend them. But since this is aimed at people who are progressing or in the beginning stages of their career, if you're not shooting and your portfolio is up to date and you don't have anything to do, you should be on LinkedIn or you should be on the internet finding companies, finding email leads, and sending your book to them. Because if you're not reaching, some of my biggest year-over-year return clients are off a random email.
Yeah.
I've made so much money off of random emails that people received and were like, cool, let's set something up. And they've turned into like the most profitable relationships in my career. Some tips on that. If you see a creative director that has been in the role for less than 6 months, there's been a marketing shakeup at that company. They're looking for a new vision. There's a good chance they're looking for new content creators, photographers, videographers, etc. If you see the CMO or the vice president of marketing or anybody high up in the marketing department that just joined the company, they're going in a new direction. You should reach out to them. Not saying you shouldn't reach out to everybody, but like if you're prioritizing stuff, look for people that just joined. Things I've used. LinkedIn is great. You can have a lot of filters. You can filter through businesses that way. You get a lot of crappy ones.
Yeah.
And like you'll be going through 100 pages and you have to check their website and make sure that their work looks like your work and that it will fit. You can check trade shows. Trade shows are a great place. If you have one brand that you know of and you want to find more like it, find a regional trade show. There's going to be a lot of people in that industry there. It's a great way to sort of find leads. Get really creative with it. But if you are not shooting and you don't have anything necessarily to do, you should be doing market research and you should be sending your book out because that is going to make you more money in the long run than anything else, any piece of gear.
Yeah, definitely.
Just anything. That is how you run a business. You have to bring in leads. And I'm saying bring in leads, like if you're posting on Instagram, great. That's good. Post on LinkedIn, great. It's great. When you reach out to somebody, if they respond to you, you should connect with them on social media in some form and just use that as a way to touch base. You should probably have a newsletter you're sending out quarterly, biannually, something like that. But it's so important.
I mean, to Drew's point about like posting on LinkedIn and Instagram and all these things, like if you're just posting on Instagram and that's your way to market, like we said earlier, good luck. That's not necessarily the way we would
Not how I would do it. No.
I mean, it is free real estate. Sure, obviously you should have an Instagram and post it, but you should look at things like Instagram as a portfolio, an extra little branch of your portfolio and an extra way to connect with these people that you're trying to connect with.
Another side note, your Instagram should look like your website.
Yeah.
If your Instagram and website don't look the same, you're making a huge mistake. Delete all your content. Start making it look
like amazing. We all love your dog, but it doesn't need to be in your grid. Right. Not unless you shoot pets. Have a
personal page.
Throw those things on your story, but your extension of your portfolio being your Instagram in this situation should be exactly that. It should be an amalgamation of all your work in a way that can also catch people's attention in the same way and hook them that your website can.
Yeah.
And use it as a way to, like Drew said, connect in another route with some creative director agency people that you're trying to get these jobs with, or you've spoken to them over email. Great. Maybe like y'all can follow each other and it gives you another way to connect with them. Obviously, maybe don't bombard them from 30 different social media outlets, but
I wouldn't go DMing people.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I would follow them. If they follow you back, great.
Right.
Send a connection request on LinkedIn. And then if they see people aren't stupid. If they see your work and they like it, they'll reach out.
Exactly.
Like I said, newsletter is great for that too. If you have their email address, you can, and they respond and, are cool. Add them to your newsletter, send something out with some cool work at some point.
Yeah.
It's a good way to touch base with people. Think of your website as business you and your Instagram as business casual.
That is so
You're wearing jeans to the office. You can post some personal stuff on your stories. You can have some captions that speak to who you are. It's a good way to be personal with people. We're not wearing pajamas.
Yeah. Instagram is T-shirt Friday.
T-shirt Friday. Yeah, exactly. Think of it like that. Let's see. This is a new series, and we are, like we said, trying to be as informative and helpful as possible. We have a whole bunch of topics we want to cover. If there's anything you want to hear more about, leave a comment. We are just sort of making this up as we go. We'd love to talk about whatever it is that you need to hear about. We have lots of experience. I'm sure we can be helpful.
Yeah.
If we can't be helpful, I don't know, maybe we'll do some research.
Yeah.
Learn some new stuff ourselves.
If you need more information on anything we touched about, information that you think we might have more knowledge on, just want to learn about us and our experience, we like to talk and we like to have fun, and we hope that you will join us for that.
Yeah. And on that note, we'll see you next time.
Peace.